Have you ever caught yourself drifting off while listening to someone else speak, or even daydreaming while having a conversation? Some people can be especially hard to listen to, but there are some things that you can do that will help you not only get through it, but retain the information as well. There are many ways that the practice of listening can help improve the quality of the conversation. Listening well can be challenging at times, but here are some things that you can do to improve your listening skills. You can tell yourself that you will tell someone else about the conversation later, remove all of your distractions, and recognize change in that person's tone or body language. Of course, everyone communicates, even animals communicate. A huge part of communication is the listening aspect. Some jobs require active listening to be a much bigger part for success. For example, teachers, chefs, counselors, all of those jobs are dependent on their listening skills. It is important for me because I'm a coach. Coaches are always supposed to have their listening eyes and ears open. Again, I will cover how to be a better listener by I will help you become a better listener by telling yourself to tell someone else about the conversation later, removing those distractions, and paying attention to someone's change in tone or body language. Consciously reminding yourself to tell someone else about the conversation later will probably help you retain most of that conversation. This way of thinking might make you want to listen instead of having that I have to listen mentality. For instance, if an athlete were to come up to me and tell me all about this new gaming system that he just got, I might not care to hear every little detail and the pros and cons to it, but if I consciously think, hey, my boyfriend or my brother would really like to hear about this new gaming system, this allows me to change my perception to a want to hear type of conversation. Typically, this tactic of telling people is a way for you to get yourself more involved in the conversation. It allows you, if you care enough, to ask you could relate it to personal things in life. Like, if an athlete comes up to you about a new gaming system, you can ask questions about all the controls, the new games that they can play on it, the new buttons or whatever it is, and you could relate it to a new cell phone or a new car with all of the interior, the new buttons, the new controls, all of that. Typically, a person can tell if you are listening by those connections to personal life that you make. This will probably strengthen your relationship with that person, and it allows them to earn your ears when they want your attention. After all, it is likely that that person may bring up previous conversations with you. Equally important, you want to make sure that you are paying attention. In order to give your speaker your full attention, you must remove all of your distractions. In today's day and age, cell phones are the most prevalent technology. Don't get me wrong. They are very useful, they are convenient, they're great. But how many times have you lost a person's focus due to their cell phones ringing, dinging, or buzzing? This is why most public schools have a no cell phone policy. The best way to eliminate cell phone distraction is obviously to eliminate the cell phone entirely. However, if you have your cell phone on you, of course you can turn it on silent, or you could even turn it off. But it is human instinct to pick up their phone, check the time, and of course, by doing that, if you see a notification, well, there goes your attention. Another popular distraction is the environment that the conversation is held in. If you go to a noisy restaurant, something as little as a whiny baby can catch our attention and hold it. One thing that is certain to take our attention away is being uncomfortable. If you know that you're going to a 2-hour lecture, you probably should go to the restroom, bring a snack and water, and dress comfortably. Something that is very distracting to me is being uncomfortable, in tight clothes, having a full bladder, or a growling stomach. Distractions can be external and internal, and sometimes internal distractions can be a lot noisier, like worry, stress, anxiety. But you could probably eliminate the stress by making a to-do list, because a lot of times internal stress has something to do with time. So if at the beginning of the week you make a to-do list of when to do homework, that fits with your time to go to work, when you can go to the grocery store, all of that stuff. That will probably help. Removing distractions from your daily conversation will open up your body to hear more than just the words that are being said. Excuse me. A good listener won't limit their ability to hear words only, but also to recognize a change in tone and or body language. Have you ever been misled by asking someone how they were doing and they said good or fine, but they didn't really sound good or fine? It's pretty common. But realizing that and letting your speaker know that you are recognizing their change in their tone might get your speaker to open up, or just recognize that you are not just hearing them, but you're listening to them. Body language is a great indicator of how someone is really feeling during a conversation. Imagine if President Trump or President Obama or any president goes up to speak at a presidential address, shows up in pajamas, slouches the whole time, yawns every so often, but is saying everything that the world wants to hear. Is it really true? Depending on his body language, you could probably question or challenge that. Repetition is a good way to tell what the speaker is emphasizing. Just like a movie, the most repeated phrases or actions are usually the most important ones. If you're having a conversation with someone, a good listener will pick up on how someone feels about certain things and make note of it. Picking up on how someone feels about a subject before bringing it up might also save a possible argument. Being a good listener can take a lot of work at times, but they say the harder you work at something, the bigger the prize. In conclusion, there are many ways that people can communicate, but the one thing that keeps communication going is listening. Remembering that you're going to tell someone else about the conversation later, removing all distractions, and paying attention to a change in tone of the voice or body language, doing those 3 things could probably boost your level of listening from a 1 to a 5. And I hope that helps you become a better listener.